last year, May 2015, and we're currently on to our 10th paper out of 12 core subjects. And I'm just going to speak for a couple of minutes about why the online version of the MBA works so well for me. So just quickly a bit about myself and why the online MBA was really my only realistic choice for study. So I'm a lawyer by trade. I completed an LLB and a BA in criminology and history at Victoria University in Wellington in the early 2000s, and then a Master of Laws with First Class Honours in Auckland a bit later on. I practiced law for a couple of years, and eventually I decided I wanted a bit more variety and to get out of the office, so I joined the New Zealand Police. Spent a couple of years on the front line before moving into the Criminal Investigation Branch in South Auckland, where I'm currently still based as a detective. And we deal with everything from pretty much homicides, armed robberies, serious violence, through to sexual assaults and serious child abuse, which is not very nice. Really enjoy the police. Got no intention to leave. It's a great job. Every day is different, and basically I get paid to do real interesting things and to interact with some really interesting characters. I also work part-time as a legal officer with the New Zealand Army. I've been doing that since about 2013, and I was previously spent 9 years as a reserve infantry soldier with the Royal New Zealand Infantry Regiment. Also totally love this position. The Defence Force is such a unique place, and the kind of work you do, you don't ever find it in that sort of a setting. And plus it was the only way that I could still practice law part-time without having any sort of conflict of interest with anything with the police. I also have two young lads. We've got Jack, who just turned 2 the other week, and Will, who's coming up 10 months. So for those of you that are good at maths, that's a 15-month gap between the two of them. Wondering what we were thinking, but so far it's going all right. At the moment I'm on daddy daycare leave, and I spend my days looking after them while my partner Susie works some absolutely horrendously long hours as a doctor at Waikato Hospital. I'm due to go back to work part-time soon, working just in the weekends, 2 10-hour shifts every weekend, which means basically I'm going to be looking after the kids Monday to Friday and then working Saturday, Sunday, so essentially 7 days a week on the job. So I've always wanted to study business, but with 2 jobs, 2 kids, better half who's a doctor, plus I think we've moved and lived in 3 different regions in the North Island in the last couple of years due to Susie's training and her work commitments. So the only possible way I could fit any further study in was through an online program. When I sort of initially looked at it, I wanted to be sure that any qualification that I invested in or put time into would be able to stand up as being reputable and not just from an unknown internet course provider that no one's ever heard of and has no accreditation. So for me, that was the real beauty of the Otago Online MBA. It had the credibility of coming from one of the better universities in the Southern Hemisphere while still having the flexibility of the online course. So, I mean, has it met my expectations? Most definitely. There's no mistaking that doing an MBA by whatever means, whether it's in class or online, is a big commitment, and I've definitely found it challenging at times, but also very enjoyable. Even though I'm only 2/3 the way through, I've been able to apply some of the things that I've learnt in both roles with the police and with the New Zealand Defence Force, and that was similar to what Julian said in the video that you heard at the start. The online nature of the program is the only thing that really allows me to fit study in with work and family commitments. There's no 2 ways about that. There's absolutely no way I'd be able to physically attend classes in the evening, putting aside that I think it's 1,200 kilometres between Cambridge and Dunedin. But with the online program, I can just put the kids to bed and I can still be in the house looking after them while I'm attending classes in the office, which basically creates minimal disruption to our lives. And likewise, if I'm having to work a late shift, I can just log on at work and attend classes from one of the station interview rooms or at my desk, which I've done on a number of occasions. And that, of course, is big thanks to the support from my direct supervisors and the county's Manukau Police District Leadership Team, many of whom have unfortunately been interviewed or have been the subject of many of the assignments that I've written in the 10 papers during the course, much to their horror. Along with various police stations, I've also attended class while I've been staying at the Devonport Naval Base while I've been working there, and both Trentham and the Linton Army camps and the barracks, not to mention, I think, hotel rooms everywhere from Invercargill up to Tauranga and everywhere in between when I've had to go away for work for one reason or another. And in our cohort, in the first cohort, we've had classmates and lecturers who've attended classes from pretty much every corner of the country and from all sorts of other locations. I was just thinking about it the other night as to where we've had people come in from, and we've got heaps of Australians, Brunei, the UAE, Canada. Julian, who you saw running down Mission Bay at the start of the video, he used to come in from Vienna when he was over there running marathons. England, we had a lecturer who was based in Beijing. We had one of our classmates come in from a 7-Eleven in the middle of Taiwan, and even one who used to come on Zoom while he was on the motorway stuck in traffic in Qatar in the Middle East. And so that for me really just highlights just how flexible the online learning can be, which is just fantastic if you've got my sort of commitments. So finally, what would my advice be to others who are considering the online or the Otago Online MBA? Firstly, the webcam is a bit daunting to start with. You soon get over that though, especially once you form the relationships with your course mates through the breakout sessions and the syndicate work. I've met some absolutely terrific people from all the different cultures and walks of life, and I know a lot of us will be mates long after the course finishes. It helps having the end of year things. I was on one of the photos there at the beach with one of the doctors and also the young lady we saw at the start of the video who's in one of the other cohorts, and we'd just been chased down the beach by a seal just before that photo was taken. My advice, I think, if you think you're able to handle the commitment of studying for an MBA, is just